before this 1 hour boleh buat dua goods. After increased productivity, 1 hour can produce 4 goods in a way. So where does this capital come from? Capital come from investment, and investment come from saving. Now this is the basic kind of a picture of what exactly is in a very macroeconomic level. So there's a net annual revenue is equal to Q, which is the value of total national output at the end of the annual production cycle, minus the value of the total capital required to produce Q. I think it's quite easy. So the difference between those particular things, which is basically the net revenue, will be channeled to a couple of things, according to Smith. And I have to say here, it's easy for me to click, right? So one consists of a net profit in a way, profit and rent, by the capitalists and the landlords. So where does this net annual revenue? Sorry, I was burping. I just finished my dinner. Okay, they're going to go to a few places. The first one, it might be taken by the government through taxes. That's easy to make sense. All the net revenue will be taken for immediate consumptions, or they will be invested in capital accumulations, or the capitalists or the landowners might use the revenue to loan the money to give to other people. Or, this is the fifth one, some may be hoarded, withdrawn from the system. Meaning to say it's either being lompat or something like that in a way, where the whole money, the chunk of the net revenue is being taken out of the circulation of economy. It could happen in many things, in many ways, but according to Smith, it's not a possibility if there are security that secure the property's right and somehow make sure the contracts are being respected, because if the contracts are not being respected, you can actually bring the money out and somehow steal it away. It's basically talking about stealing here in a way, and take it out of the system so it won't be detected by the government. So as long as you have security, number 5 is not going to happen. So we have number 1 to number 4. But according to Smith, this number 1 and number 4 will again somehow be either resolved into K and C, which is capital and consumption. Even though you give to taxes or you give to interest or whatever, it will all resolve into K plus C, which is capital, accumulation, or consumption. Why? See, kalau bagi kat taxes, if the revenue was given to taxes, so the government is going to take the money, right? So what did the government do with the money? They can do 2 things. They can spend it for their own operational costs, see, they consume it in a way, or they can invest it with projects to increase. They can invest in project for capital in a way. So there are 2 things. It's either going to be consumed immediately, or it's going to be part of the investment by the government. Also, if you give it, if the capitalist decided to give the money, the extra money to other people, loan the money to some other individuals, that individual also is going to spend the money. It's useless for them to keep the money under their bed. So they're going to spend either the money for their own, you become some like Prime Minister's wife, not in this country, but Prime Minister's wife, that you spend a lot of money for yourself, or you somehow invest for capital. Again, it's going back to the capital accumulations and also consumption. So you have that the net revenue will be either a combination of capital consumption by the private individuals or the government, plus the capital accumulation by the governments or the individuals. That's the Y equal to CP plus CG there, and the rest are. So there's a consumption, there's a capital in the revenue, but Smith also said that between these two elements, between capital accumulations and consumption, in a very general sense, capitalists, especially capitalists, tend to emphasize more on accumulation rather than consumption. Why he bases based on his philosophical observation, if you like, that human beings by nature always try to improve their condition. Remember that in the very first slide we mentioned the word bettering the condition? There's no ends to it in a way. There are certain levels where it's good enough for you to attain real happiness. But here, the kind of a complicated part of it is with some people cannot get it, they still try to chase for wealth. And the very generous and capitalists, especially those who are rich, tend to somehow accumulate more wealth because that's part of their modes of trying to improve their condition. They never had enough. In a very simple sense, once they get the money, they're not just going to stop, okay, that's it. They're going to invest to produce more money. More money and more money and more wealth. Because they want to be seen to be rich by richer than others, in a way. This is mentioned as well in the, I think it's mentioned in the Theory of Moral Sentiment, in a very long quotes, I remember. He was giving an example about kings and beggars, or something like that. But the whole point is rather to emphasize that despite the real happiness is just living in a very modest life, not many people understood that. In a very descriptive sense, he said, people, especially the rich, tend to somehow disillusions to build their wealth eternally, if you like. It's a never-ending chase for wealth. So, in that sense, net capital accumulation is thus assured in Smith's system. Meaning to say, he confirmed that if everyone's are like that, then especially the rich, again, the poor have no points in this, because the poor is going to become the workers. Only though the capitalists have the investment to produce this, to invest for capital accumulation. So if capitalists behave this way, the economy is going to continuously grow. And now, once the economy grows, at the same time, there must be some net increase in immediate consumption as well. So when there's an increase in production process, the increase in output, when your economy grows, you need more capital, more output. But at the same time, when they have more output, what you need is also more consumption. Right? If there's an increase in output, no one's going to consume it. It's useless. So, how do Smith explain this? He said, the desire for food is limited in every man by the narrow capacity of the human stomach. But the desire for the conveniences and ornaments of life knows no limit or certain boundary. In the desire altogether endless. So he said there's no problems when it comes to consumption because... Sorry? You want to say something more?
No, I was just saying to myself. So.
Okay. It's a very loud way of saying it. But nonetheless, I mean, this desire for goods, for higher quality goods are endless, according to Smith. Again, this is where the Adam Smith paradox comes in. Because people think, oh, this is what Adam Smith thinks about human nature in general. Meant to say this is a good thing to do. But in a way, I understood theory of moral sentiment. We are human behavior. There have a certain tendency to behave that way. We have a tendency to, in an Islamic sense, there's a debate as well, whether we are born good or we are born bad, or we are born in a very neutral sense. But some people are born, I mean at least in a very general sense, are born with this kind of a greedy instinct. But that doesn't justify them to be greedy. Being an Adam Smith, being a religious figure, again we can debate whether it's religious or not, but he knows that there's a test, it's a Christianity doctrine as well, that obviously you have certain lusts that you have to maintain. Obviously if you have a lust for sex, doesn't mean that you can have sex anytime you want. So the same thing here. When he said that generally, people will pursue wealth, will have no limits for their own desire, it doesn't really suggest that it's right for you to have endless desire. He never said that. What he was indeed saying in the theory of happiness that you have to live a moral worthy life, if you like. But regardless, because this kind of behavior exists, how does this behavior can be used and be manipulated to benefit the poor? Okay. But growth is not only a case of more capital accumulation. This is the capital accumulation part of the story. But for the economy to grow, we mentioned two things, right? It's also a case for the capital or the productive laborers to become more productive. In a way, it's not just investing on the capital itself. The capitalists also need to make sure that the laborers becoming more productive. But again, in what sense? Some libertarians are going to say, that's why capitalists are going to support education. Because they need to make sure the laborers are skillful. Only then they have a more productive labor. It's true, it's partially true. But there are limitations to it in the sense that the kind of skill that they are going to look for is rather skills that benefit them. So all the human sides will be somehow neglected. And this, again, became one of the problems that Adam Smith think is crucial for the government to interfere when it comes to education. And we'll see that in the next slide. But before that, let's look at division of labor. So for productivity to happen, what's needed, according to Adam Smith, is a division of labor. And where he got this idea is that I can't remember, he somehow provided a kind of anecdotes. He said that he looked at how needles are being produced. Is it needles? Let me go. Pins, okay. Sorry, pins. That's the word. So, nonetheless, one of the good things that he thinks can come out of division of labor is improving the increased specialization. I mean, you are getting more expert in your own specializations. If your task is to produce this, and only that, you're not going to somehow bothered by any other departments. You'll be good at it because you focus on that. It's strengthening the production lines, invention and use of cost-reducing machinery. Okay, this is the simple stuff that you can understand. But division of labor is somehow limited by two things. The nature of the activity itself. I think in the modern economic theory, they call it, I can't remember it now, I've been in for quite some time now. It's when certain things, you cannot have too many workers. Because if you have too many workers, it's become... Okay, that's the word, exactly. And also the market itself, because when you have a specialized division of labor, you produce more, but somehow the market cannot cater that, so you have to extend. We have to somehow react to the market's demand, in a way. That's simple. So division of labor is hello. Do I need to sing Adele sang hello to get the attention of the mic? Okay, I'm not sure. Can I get the time now? 9:35. We'll stop at 9:45 for a break. I hope I can finish by that, so we can look at how division of labor has become a problem in one good documentary that I'm going to show to you. I hope you like it nonetheless. So, okay, division of labor is treated by Smith as an ongoing dynamic process, and also motivated by what he called as a self-interested behavior. And again, he never justified this, but he said, descriptively speaking, this is how society works, particularly on the part of the employers. So, the tendency is that they're going to be following the real prices, because the amount of labor that being involved there is going to be reduced. And okay, he also mentioned, because of the limitation just now, that the foreign trade need to somehow expand the market to other countries. Only the division of labor somehow can match that in a way, because you can produce more outputs, and your markets are limited, so it's encourageable for the country, for the government, to somehow expand their market to some other countries. And again, being a slightly leftist, Marx's perspective of this is Lenin wrote a thesis on imperialism. I can't remember the title now. Anybody know the title? Lenin wrote something about imperialism and and capital accumulations. So how imperialism, so colonialism was driven by this, by trying to expand the market. So imperialism, in the sense that why colonialism happened, could be understood in context where, it's a logical conclusion of to expand the economics horizons of the particular empire. And in fact, why the Portuguese come to Malaysia back in those days was exactly the same thing. There are three G's, not 3G, the lines: glory, gold, and gospel. Okay, that's pretty much Malaysian History 101. That's understandable. Okay, one thing about the division of labor. According to the classical treatment of division of labor, which is again Plato and the philosophers of those times, the division of labor is rather the division of labor where you have to work this and that. Is not actually a reflection of people's natural abilities. This perspective was used to justify the inferior social status of women and slaves. Smith especially rejected such view. So it's not because you were born that way, you have to work that way. At the end of there's a long quote there, I know you're not going to read the whole thing, but read the last sentence. The difference between the most dissimilar characters between a philosopher and a common street porter, for example, seems to arise not so much from nature or where they are born or what kind of classes they are, but from habit, custom, and educations. It's not inherent in themselves. If you're black, if you are, this is again against slave. These are the arguments that you can use against slavery. Because the nature of slavery is that you become slave because you are less human. You're not even a human. I mean, this is being justified by Bible back in those days, not today's Bible. But people use Bible to justify that the blacks, the Africans, are not really human. That's why it's justified for them to use the Africans as slaves. Because they were born that way. But the thing is, I mean, he said, no, you work as a workers not because you are born as workers, but it's because of the habit, the custom, education that you get. And that's why he really emphasized on education later, because for the workers to get out of the pit that they are in, of the kind of environment that they are in, they need to be educated in a way. Okay, so in this particular, again, this particular system of natural liberty, and this kind of a division of labor, they're gonna, in a very general sense, they're gonna benefit all the classes that we mentioned at the beginning of the lecture: the landlords, the capitalists, and also the laborers. So, in what sense? Okay, he explained now. He said landlords benefit because an expanding population implies an increasing demand for land. So, to feed the population, and so forth, the amount of rent, its natural rent, tend to rise, but very slow rise in a way, but it's still in a very long tend to rise. Therefore, the interest of the landlords is strictly and inseparably connected with the general interest of the society. But landlords, again, this is important, but landlords are too often defective, or in other words, stupid. In understanding their interest because of their indolence, they are not really trained to somehow involve in the whole interest. They are just too relaxed in a way. This leave them vulnerable to persuasion by manufacturers and merchants. Again, remember that we mentioned where the rent becomes zero because the landlords are stupid. This is where he explained it in a way. The laborers benefit in material terms because the growth in the demand of laborers tend to exceed the growth in the supply. This again is not true. Historically speaking, empirically speaking, is not true. But Smith was very optimistic about it. The trend is of a rising natural wage and falling real pieces of wage goods. In the long run, wages will increase, the price of the goods will decrease. So it's the interest of the labor is really connected with the society, but the labor is incapable of either comprehending the interest or of understanding its connection with its own. So the laborers, when they work, they can't really see these things, because they are not educated enough. That's one thing. Because they also at the level where they can't really see in the very long run, their wages will be increasing in the system. But the capitalists do. Capitalists do not benefit to the extent that the natural rate of profit has a tendency to fall. Because the competition of capital, as we mentioned just now, although negative consequences for both are offset by a legit tendency for the mass of profits to rise, even though its rate is reduced. This I mentioned just now. The greatest spur to the efficiency that is said to result from the lower profit rate, and the expansion of the foreign trade, meaning you increase the markets in some other countries. Hence, the interest has not the same connection with the great generator of the society as that of the other two. It's, how do you put this, the other two classes doesn't really know what's happening, and somehow their development, when they are improved in the society, they somehow improve the whole, because they represent the majority of the classes themselves, of the society itself. But unlike the other two orders, capitalists do understand their own interests. To widen the market and to narrow the competition is always the interest of the dealers. Here's what people speculate that Adam Smith was, when he wrote about Wealth of Nations, was really aiming the rich. Because only the rich can do this. He can give it to the poor, but the poor can't read, or the poor, even if the poor can read, they can't do anything about it. Because they are again depending on the wages of the capitalists. So in a way, that's why the Wealth of Nations are somehow being framed in a way that this system is going to benefit you, the capitalists. And less mention about poverty, less mention about labours, less mention about the moral values of things. But once you read the moral books, the theory of moral sentiments, side by side with the Wealth of Nations, then we can see the parallel of the whole thing.
So you could say that he actually was aware of a class conflict, but he never articulated it explicitly in the Wealth of Nations. Would you say that?
I want to say conflict.
Because like earlier, like you said, like
The
there are
interest.
groups that are not aware of the interests, but the capitalists are,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really go with the interests of the general society at large.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but yeah, it's true. But is it a conflict in a direct sense? Maybe not yet. I don't think he sees it that way. He knows that there's a certain conflict of interest because of where you are in the class system. But it's not a part of the. It's not unlike Marxists. They would think that this conflict is how the history moves. If you like, the conflict of classes is why certain history unfolded. Okay, this is what Smith wanted. This I'm going to read from the first sentence till the end. The proposal of any new law or regulation of commerce which comes from this order ought always to be listened to with great precautions, and ought never to be adopted till after having been long and carefully examined, not only with the most scrupulous but with the most suspicious attention. It comes from an order of men who have general interests to deceive and even to oppress the public, and who accordingly have upon one occasion both deceived and oppressed it in a way. Yeah, okay. Somebody got the message, in a way. So okay, it's an honest, it's an honest system in the sense that the systems are relatively, according to Smith, neutral, but there can be a lot of deceptions going on throughout the process. And you have to be very careful when it comes to applying it. Okay, what are the benefits? Very general. Again, the great mass of the people, the laborers, would benefit in material terms, his or body, as a result of a lower price and especially a high demand for labor. But, okay, what are the limitations? Remember, the real happiness comes from two things. Is our body and peace of mind. So where does peace of mind comes into being here? If the society is going to be happy, the whole majority of the society should be happy, which is the workers. The workers might be able to somehow get the material benefits. But how about the peace of mind? This is where the education comes in. So Smith said in the system, there are a few things that government should intervene. Defend and administration of justice, financing of a major infrastructure project that were too costly to be taken by private individuals. Here, he's not really that to free markets. When it comes to big projects, sometimes the capitalists and those, the business people in the industry couldn't afford to do it because it's too big and it's needed for the society. So what you do is rather, the government should intervene from the tax money that they got to create that kind of a major infrastructural projects. So there are things that Smith said, in a very market sense, that government should intervene, which unfortunately some of the free market supporters today fail to see. Okay, people can attack me afterwards, but that's my observation. Okay, that's another third one as well, building walls and all those things. Okay, those are restraining those exertion of the intellectual liberty of few individuals, which might endanger the security of the whole society. And on banking practices, this is the interesting part. Banking practices, according to this, he never really developed this, but he mentioned in one or two lines. When it comes to banking practices, maybe it's not a good idea to let it too free. You have to monitor it a bit because there are a lot of deceptions will happen throughout the process. It's too complicated. It's free. It could be free, but when it's too complicated, people can deceive others very easily. Somebody have to monitor. And okay, partly financing and imposing education. Not just financing, but imposing education. When he said imposing, he was quite explicit about it, that everybody in the society should be educated and supported by the government. It must be made compulsory. It's a compulsory education. This is quite revolutionary ideas. Not ideas in the tin tank Malaysia society, Malaysia. But it's revolutionary ideas, Smith ideas in a way. No, I'm being neutral. The single most important problem for Smith, you don't trust me, okay? The single most important problem for Smith is that the condition of the labourers. And okay, this is too long for me to read. I'm just going to try to find the here. Can you read it for a while? I'll give you 1 minute to relax and read the whole thing. okay, one of the highlights is that he naturally loses, he too refer to the workers, when he involved in division of labors. Therefore, the habit of self-exertions and generally becomes as stupid and ignorant as possible for human creature to become. When you get so specialized, and there's no education for you, there's no education to support you because of you working a number of hours in the system, you become stupid, and there's no way for the workers to undo their conditions. Exactly. He said that this is often the neglected part of the division of labor that people don't read. But this is the part where Adam Smith mentioned, even though this is sufficient for the economy, but at the individual level, especially the workers, especially the poor communities, you tend to become more stupid, and something needs to be done, and hence the education part. He makes several points, same point several times, in fact, and the drowsy stupidity which in the civilized country seems to benumb the understanding of almost all inferior ranks of people. And again, there are the quotes there. So, if they are stupid, at the very last part of the lecture, if you look at the last line, they lose the capacity for real happiness. Why? No educations, you're not educated, and you don't know how to live in a very civilized manner. And in that respect, become worse off than they were in so-called barbarian society. So, if you're just materially good, materially or financially well, but no educations, you're going to be, in Adam Smith terms, not happy. Or depressed maybe. Again, this is about migrations where in a kampong area, it's okay, it's understandable. But once they migrated to the urban area, that's where the kind of inequality happens that makes them become more and more stupid in a way. Because you are caught in this whole relations of the urban economic environments. In a kampong, you can somehow have this communal spirit. But in an urban, commercialized stage, everything is being structured and bureaucratized. You are somehow stuck in that kind of relations. To join a small religious sect. Okay. Smith drew attention to one popular way in which at least some city laborers attempt to find a solution to their miserable life by joining a small religious sect. Okay, this sentence is why some scholars of Adam Smith speculate that because the way he described this as in a very negative sense, as if he kind of disliked religions. This is where Adam Smith somehow speculates. Scholars of Adam Smith speculates that maybe at the end of this period, he somehow see religions. Some say to the extreme where he says he became agnostic. Again, we never know really. He never really make any explicit statements. But there are few signs that, according to this side of the arguments, that can be analyzed, and we'll look into that later, especially the idea of invisible hand. The way he explained invisible hand, it's on his first essay, it's somehow very negative, as if, because, I'll explain later that one. Or you can read it later. So speak proposition, education. For the great mass of the people, the laborers, the state has to impose education upon them, albeit of a basic kind, reading, writing, and everything. It also had to finance at least part of the cost of the education, although Smith believed that even laborers could and should pay most of the cost themselves. Here he's not fully, he's not suggesting free education, but he said government should intervene because he knows the limitations of the market itself. He even argued that states should impose education on all members of society, including the rich. So the rich cannot get away from the education. I'm not sure, because again, this is a debatable, but is he suggesting a compulsory education where even the rich and the poor stay in the same school? Or he was basically aiming for those rich who doesn't like to work, and doesn't like to be educated because they're simply rich. They just live and spend and live lavishly with their wealth, in a way. Again, there's debate here, but in a very general sense, the education should be imposed on everybody. Is it the same school or not? That's another debate now. And the further proposal was to cultivate the arts. This can be understood in a way that these are the things that are not going to be really supported by the markets, at least in those particular time. According to Adam Smith, some would say now it's okay because arts become one of the industry, so we can somehow markets can devise that, market can regulate that. But in those days, arts are rather industry of the rich, even now in fact. But arts, it's not, arts, what is considered as art in those era is only understood by the rich. Because the poor never see paintings hang at the wall of the palace. They never like speculate on this theory or this paintings are this and that because they never seen one, they never have one. The only things that they know is a popular culture, the folk kind of artistics. It's not culture in that own sense. So there's a high culture, there's a low culture. I don't know the distinctions. Okay, when he said this, is it a contradiction? When he said that education should be monitored, should not be free, should be state intervention. So, I mean, according to this interpretation, is the one that I'm suggesting at the moment, is that it's not really a contradiction because at the very beginning, system of national ability is rather a means to an end. What are the ends? The real happiness of the people. What are the real happiness of the people? The ease of body and the peace of mind. What makes society happy is the majority part of society. Who are the majority part of society? It's the labourers, servants, and the workers. In a way. So once you set your mind on that particular framework, it might not be a contradiction after all. Again you can read the whole quote there. Okay, we're done. Okay, this is where Adam still mentioned about invisible hand, but I think I'm going to take a break now. I'm sure you guys want to eat something there, and I want to bring something too. But if you have any questions, we can have a break for 15 minutes, I think. And after that, well, depends on whether you want to watch the documentary or not, or you want to discuss about this. This is easy to read, to be honest. It's a postscript, so it wasn't supposed to be part of the lecture. It was just an additional stuff that I add. But if you agree to watch the documentary, we will see this documentary. I'll show you. People are always choose for videos, right? You know, I'm just at least I offer the options lah. Regardless of whether it's a free market, right? So I offer the solutions, you choose for yourself. It's a John Pilger documentary. Anybody know John Pilger? You know? Okay. Anybody know John Pilger? He's a very famous journalist from Australia. You know? Okay. He produced a lot of good documentaries now. Okay, let's let the secrets get out of the bag. He's a leftist. But I'm going to show you a documentary where he actually secretly went into nine companies all these famous brands, companies in Indonesia, and tried to look at the workers there, the division of labor that works there, and how this division of labor somehow not only oppress the workers, but degrade them to become less humans than themselves. So it's good to see this while you are having makan-makan and everything. I think it should be a more relaxing way to end the lecture in a way. So I was supposed to finish, to start off with the Ricardo of it, which is basically his life and what are the things, but I think we can do the next time, by the way. I think we're going to start on Ricardo. How are you tired? Okay. Tired, huh? Enough talking already? Let's listen. Okay, we'll take a break now while watching the documentary.